G'day, I'm Reg.
And I'm Sam.
And we are S.A.R. Adventures.
This is a song about the way it feels, the way you burn, and the way you heal.
Alright, so what we're doing now is the second spare wheel bracket that we put onto the back of the trailer. We've mounted that up, got the spare wheel on, so I'm just taking the car and the trailer for a short run where I can get it up to 100 k's an hour and just have a feel of what the trailer's like now with that extra weight at the rear of the trailer. The balance is still alright because like the trailer still sits on its jockey wheel without the stabilizer legs down, so the weight is still front heavy, which is good, but I just want to give it a test to see what the weight is like now with that at the back. So that's why we're doing this little short trip.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down.
The initial tent side, fully up, ready to go, sleep in 6 minutes, which is really handy because you can set it up, or Sam and I can set it up like that if we're just going to overnight somewhere, like at a free stay. Don't even have to worry about unhitching it. So yeah, like 6 minutes and it's all good to go. As you saw, my annex roof, when we pack it up, the roof gets folded back over the top of the camper trailer. That's just purely for ease. What I'll go through is all the sort of the extras that I've done so far on the camper trailer. When I bought this one, I had a 240 inlet point, which I'll show you when we get around to the other side, which finally they're sort of making standard now with camper trailers, but for a long time they weren't. So it's great because now, like when we stay at powered sites and that, I can plug it in, run off power rather than drain my batteries. But I also wanted a 240 outlet, right? So I can run just a normal extension cord from here to run any sort of electrical appliances that we've got, you know, like, because I've got a toaster, like a sandwich press, and I've also got an air fryer that we like to use. So that was an added extra that when I got them to build it for me, I wanted that put into it. In here, as you can see, I've got the 12 volt just in here for your kitchen, for your fridge, which is again standard with all camper trailers. But what I've found in the past with my older versions of camper trailers is that with the constant bouncing of the trailer and corrugated roads and things like that, it tends to vibrate loose and pop out, and then you could be traveling for, you know, hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, not even realizing that your fridge has been unplugged. Right, so again, I went with a Anderson plug. So the guys that built my trailer at Uluru, they had no dramas. They put in an Anderson plug. So now I've just got a little Anderson extension. The fridge that I've got that sits in here, a 95 litre Evercool, comes standard with an Anderson plug connector. So it was like a no-brainer. Anderson plug to Anderson plug, doesn't rattle loose, doesn't come undone. The heavy-duty jockey wheel doesn't come standard. As you can see over there was the bracket for this tiny little jockey wheel that they give you, which is really useless. But again, it's pretty much standard with camper trailer. So got myself a nice heavy duty jockey wheel. Now this is what they refer to, like, they call it a boat rack. I have no idea why. I mean, like, you can't put a boat on it. But it is a very, very handy roof rack. Okay, so the modifications that I've done with the camper trailer is I've fitted a 250 watt solar panel, and again with Uluru, because I knew I wanted to mount a solar panel. So with Uluru, if you just come around here, you have to get down under me. I asked them to put in a Anderson plug-in underneath here that runs to my AC to DC. All right, so or is it DC to DC? Oh, no, I think it's AC to DC. So your permanent solar panels doesn't have that that inverter built into them. So if you're running a permanent power solar panel, then you need to run it through some form of inverter. Okay. So basically, the solar panel is just bolted down onto the frame, and then we just ran the connecting wires. We cut one end off, put an Anderson plug on it, and then just ran it pinned down so it's nice and tight. It's not going to hook onto anything that we're driving along. Ran it along the frame and into the Anderson plug in there. So it's absolutely great when it's packed up. It's constantly putting charge into my batteries, because obviously it's facing straight up, so it's going to get the sun. And at some stage during the day, the solar panel, unless I'm like completely in the shade, the solar panel will still pick up some sunlight to produce a little bit of power to go into it. But I also have a 250 watt portable solar panel, which plugs into my battery system, which is located in here. So that's just an Anderson extension. All right, for my portable solar panel. So obviously your positive and negative connects to an Anderson plug, and then I can just move my 250 watt portable solar panels around. I'll show you the batteries once we go inside. All right, in here is just your standard hot water system. All right, under here you've got your gas plugs into it. You have a hose that runs around and plugs into it. When I open it all up and have it all set up, I'll show you a little bit better. All right, and then you just like hit your sparker and turn it on. And I've also got a second hot water hose outlet. So one obviously runs to your shower unit, but if I want, I can run a second hose from here, plug it into the kitchen unit so that I have hot water in the kitchen at all times as well. Finally, I got me spare wheel. So Uluru Camper trailers, or at least this model of Uluru Camper trailer, only comes with one spare wheel. And everything that you read, everything that you see in relation to doing a lap of Australia, everybody says you need at least 2 spare wheels per vehicle that you've got. So I'm too old to be lifting that sort of weight from on top of a roof rack. So I wanted to come up with an idea of how I can get to it quite easily. So trust me, it's not held on by a tie down strap. This bracket that you see in here has a chain hoist. As you can see, the chain's just in there. All right, and there's your winch for it to lower it up and down. Exactly the same as what you get in, like for my D-Max. Anybody that has a spare wheel that is located underneath the car will have one of these. Today, or the more modern ones have a cable rather than a chain. I much prefer the chain. Chains tend to not rattle loose. But trust me, it's up there. It's solid as buggery. But just as a safety precaution, I've just ran a tie down strap around it just to hold it in place. When we finished and we hooked all this up, put it all on, I took it for a drive. You'll see the footage of that, just to make sure that there's that little bit of extra weight in the back doesn't give me a trailer sway, which it didn't. I got up to 120, and the trailer just sat behind me like as though it wasn't there. So it was excellent, and that's without that the jerry cans and the water in the front. They're empty. So I mean, there's about 60 odd kilos of extra weight. At the moment we're in the process. I've got a King's Ensuite, which is very similar to your annex that you get for your car, except for instead of it just having one slide out for a roof, this one has it has 3. One comes out, and then another one comes out again, and it basically forms a cubicle that hangs down. So they're called Ensuites. Again, I've got my brilliant brother-in-law, Mickey Welsh. He's working on it to come up with a system or an idea of how I can mount it on the back here permanently, rather than because it's like your awning. It's got to be permanently fixed. I don't want to be like fixing it to the roof rack of the car or anything like that. I can't fix it to this roof rack because I mean it's just too flimsy and too weak. So Mick's got this concept. He's got this idea in his head where it's going to be mounted here, so it'll sort of hang out to the side here like this, and then with a pin system, I just pop the pin it'll rotate over, so it basically then sits across the back here, and then it's pinned back in once it's all packed up. Rotate it over, pin it back down, and it'll still stay below the height of the roof rack on the trailer, so it won't cause me any sort of extra wind turbulence. So that's in Mickey's capable hands. He's got an idea in his head. Like I said, he's a welding wizard, so he's gonna work on that concept and then show me what's going on. So if I want to come inside, when the camper trailer is folded up, that end of the canvas sits down in here when it's folded up. So with all the water rot, all the wood rot that we had, and all the water that was coming down in through here, that's caused all that mold that you can see down there. And Sam has a plan to smash into that. So we'll see how that goes. The rear cushion just velcro's off. All right, so as you can see, I still need to vacuum and shit. As you can tell by the colour, this board here and this one here is the ones that we've replaced. All right, so in this one here and this one here. All right, so the first thing I did was pay no heed to the radio. The radio hasn't worked for quite a while, and with all the water that got in, as you can see, it's developed some rust. So I'll be pissing that off and getting a new one, just a cheap thing. What we've done here is, the first thing I did was I had two 100 amp gel batteries or AGM batteries. Which I wasn't happy with how quickly the power drained from them. Everybody was telling me, like, on the 4x4 camping shows and people doing trips and people setting up their rigs and shit like that, everybody said, go lithium, go lithium. So I certainly looked into it, and liked everything that I read and studied about lithium batteries. So what I did was I went out and I bought two. I took those gel ones out, and I put two 105, well, it might be 120, I think they're 120s, 220 lithium batteries in. But then that's when the headache started. So once I dropped the lithium batteries in, it dawned on me that my AC to DC didn't work with lithium. So I got a projector here, so I had to take out the AC to DC charger for from my solar panels. I had to take it out, buy a lithium one, put it in. So that wasn't too much of a headache. Easily done, wired up to everything. So that's all good. It comes standard with a 1500 inverter, but I upped it to a 3000 to 6000 watt inverter. And basically what that means is, when you turn an electrical appliance on, it has a surge of power, obviously, to get it started, or a spike in power, I suppose, if you want to use. So this is a 3 to 6. So when I plug an electrical item in, and I'm only running off my batteries, when I plug an electrical item in, I can plug anything that will run comfortably on 3000 watt. but like I said, if you plug in, or like if you look at the fine print on, like for example, a toaster, it'll give you two. It'll give you, it's something like 1100. Don't quote me on this, but it's something like 1100 watts to run the toaster, but it's like 2200 for it to start. So, which a lot of people don't realise that you have that spike. So, like I said, bought a 3000 to 6000 inverter, and then the DC to DC charger that I had was all right to use with lithium batteries, but they say with lithium you should run a minimum of 25 amps per battery. So the DC to DC charger that I had was only a 40 amp. All right, I'm running 2, so I had to go out and buy myself a new DC to DC charger, and this one is a 80 amp. So if I wanted to down the track and up the size of my batteries, or drop in another one, I can do so and not have to worry about changing my AC to DC, DC to DC. All right, so that's basically it. This not a cheap setup. So this is our home. The next one will be the D-Max. I'll run you all through the D-Max and see how we're going. Got any questions? By all means, flick me a question or a comment.
Suggestions on how to remove mold.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sam. So, like I said, she's looked into it and she's got a plan. Obviously, you know, bleach will get rid of it, but bleach would be our absolute last resort, because you know the bleach will change all the colour of their canvas. So, but again, you know, like, it's only a cosmetic thing. I couldn't give a rat's ass if it was all different colours. I do care about breathing mould though, so.
I do care about breathing. Let's get out.
And that's it. Thumbs up, like and subscribe.